Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Andrew. I'm a legislative specialist with the Department of Human Services and the Office of Legislative Affairs. Thanks for taking the time to come to our Sunbucks webinar so you can be armed with knowledge to help your constituents out about this program. Um, some important things to begin with. This will be recorded. If you do not consent to the recording, you can leave this meeting. The recording will be disseminated along with the slide deck about a day or two after this wraps up. For any questions that you may have throughout the presentation, please feel free to put them in the Q&A in the web browser here, and we will get to them as we move through the presentation. Anything not covered or that needs to be reiterated, we can hit at the end. So I think that's it to start. So without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Carl Feldman, who's going to be presenting the subject at hand, Sunbucks, today. Take it away, Carl.
Thank you, Andrew. This is Carl Feldman. I'm the Director of the Bureau of Policy within the Office of Income Maintenance at the Department of Human Services, and we're happy to talk to you today about a pretty new program, Sunbucks, or the Summer Electronic Benefit Transfer Program. We'll do our best to address the questions that you have about this program and give you good information about it. And we'll start by moving to the next slide. All right, thank you. So for those who are not familiar, Sunbucks, also known as the Summer Electronic Benefit Transfer Program, was authorized by Congress in 2023, and it is a new permanent summer nutrition program. And to go a step beyond that, it's actually a child nutrition program. And you may know that many child nutrition programs are operated through the Pennsylvania Department of Education and various schools. But Sunbucks is a bit special. It is operated through the Pennsylvania Department of Human Services, and PDE is our partner agency, and we work together to get these benefits out to kids over the summertime. This will be an important distinction as we go through the details of how the program works. Next slide, please. The benefit itself constitutes $40 for each summer month. That's June, July, and August. In Pennsylvania, those are issued all at once as a single $120 maximum benefit per eligible child. There's no proration of Sunbucks benefits. If a child is eligible, they will receive the full $120, and if they are not eligible, they will not receive Sunbucks in that program year. And anyone who receives this can think about it as basically the same as SNAP. Anything that you can purchase with SNAP benefits, you can purchase with the Sunbucks benefit too. Next slide, please. We're going to talk a little bit about eligibility for this program. This is something that makes Sunbucks unique. It was designed by Congress so that children would not need to necessarily apply for the benefit in order to receive it. And for that reason, there is automatic eligibility for Sunbucks based on already receiving what's known as direct certification. Um, you have to be aged 6 through 18 or enrolled in a school that participates in the National School Lunch Program, receiving SNAP and or TANF, or receiving a Medicaid category that qualifies you for the National School Lunch Program. And it's important to point out that people that meet that criteria do not include recipients of PH95 medical assistance for children with special needs, and CHIP. But if they meet the criteria listed on those three bullets, they will be considered automatically eligible and receive Sunbucks without needing to apply. There's also an automatic eligibility category based on information that is provided to DHS and PDE by schools. And this is based on participating in a National School Lunch Program participating school, and they must have been determined eligible for free or reduced price meals through an application that they submitted to that NSLP school. Or they may be a foster child, runaway, migrant, homeless, or participating in Head Start. Through either of those means, direct certification or through the application for National School Lunch Program free and reduced price meals that they were determined eligible for, Sunbucks will be issued automatically. For any other child, they do have the opportunity to receive Sunbucks if they are eligible by filing an application, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. Next slide, please. We want to frame this a little bit differently because it is complicated, and maybe by looking at it through a different lens, we can give you better information about when someone needs to apply. So a child must apply for Sunbucks if they attended a school that participates in the National School Lunch Program and they did not receive TANF or SNAP or receive um, Medicaid that has a qualifying income level for the National School Lunch Program, and they did not apply or were not determined eligible for free and reduced price meals from that school, and they are not a foster, homeless, migrant, or runaway child. So the inverse of what was described earlier. If a child was not enrolled in a school that participates in the National School Lunch Program, they cannot receive Sunbucks by application. Next slide, please. So students that are receiving free and reduced price meals at community eligibility provision schools will not be considered automatically eligible for Sunbucks unless they meet one of the other criterias. They receive SNAP or TANF, they received Medicaid with qualifying income level, or is homeless, foster child, runaway, or migrant. And that's important because there are a number of schools out there that do qualify under CEP, as in the school provides meals to all the children. And so there may be more children in that school who might need to apply for Sunbucks on our application. Next slide. We want to talk a little bit about how the benefit will actually be received by the households. If a child is eligible for Sunbucks and the household has an EBT card for the direct certifying SNAP or TANF, the benefit will be issued to that regular EBT card into the SNAP account in particular. If the child is eligible for Sunbucks and received Sunbucks on a standalone Sunbucks card last year, the benefits will be issued onto last year's Sunbucks card. If a child is eligible for Sunbucks through Medicaid eligibility, so they don't actually have a transactable benefit, the benefit will be loaded onto a Sunbucks card and sent to the address associated with the Medicaid case. If child's eligible for Sunbucks based on information submitted by the child's school, the benefit will be loaded onto a standalone Sunbucks card and sent to the address provided by the school. If they're eligible through an application they submit to us, the benefit will be loaded onto a standalone Sunbucks card and sent to the address provided on that application. We anticipate that benefits will be issued in July, and we will endeavor to have all of the benefits issued by October. That's a little bit earlier on the issuance timeframe than we did last year, which we hope will be helpful. And the end timeframe for the issuance of benefits is the same for this year. Next slide, please. We're going to talk a little bit about the application. So paper applications, which are available now at our website and also in county assistance offices, can be submitted to our local county assistance offices in all 67 counties. We also, as of the now, this was not available when we first put together this presentation, have an online application that is available on our website that households can use. That's new for this year. On the application itself, again, because this is a child nutrition program, there are some things that make it different than the other benefit programs that DHS normally conducts eligibility for. The income limit for Sunbucks is 185% of the federal poverty limit. Immigration status is not an eligibility factor. Client self-attestation of income and household composition will be accepted. School enrollment must be verified, and the application must be signed. Next slide, please. So when we are processing those applications that we've received, these are the various reasons that somebody's application might be rejected. Maybe they are already eligible for Sunbucks. This is probably the most common reason. Many people will apply for Sunbucks thinking that they won't receive it unless they apply. But again, because the program was designed in such a way that most children would receive the benefit automatically, when we get an application for someone who does receive the benefit automatically, that application is rejected, but the child will still receive the benefit based on the automated issuance in the ways that we described earlier. The child might not be enrolled in an NSLP participating school. As was said earlier, if a child is to be eligible based on an application, they must be enrolled in an NSLP participating school. Unfortunately, not every school is NSLP participating. The household may be over the income limit. That's a pretty standard reason that someone may not be eligible. And the application is not signed. That's another thing that is required. Applications should be processed by DHS within 15 days of receiving them. Once we begin processing applications, which we have not initiated processing applications at this time. Next slide, please. We want to talk about a small component of Sunbucks in application processing known as verification for cause, so that should this occur to someone you work with, they do not need to be surprised by it. Verification for cause is a required component of the Sunbucks program where for anyone who applies for the Sunbucks benefit through an application, if we, DHS and our workers have information that contradicts that's what is on the application, um, the application will be processed, it's approved, but then the benefit is held, a verification for cause notice is sent out, and the worker will seek clarity on that conflict. We believe, based on what we saw in the previous year and the way that our programs are structured, that the most common circumstance for this to occur would be if someone applied for the Sunbucks program and they have a child enrolled in PH95 or the CHIP program, because that's a very common circumstance where we would have information on their income and household composition that could potentially not match what was placed on the application. And again, it doesn't mean that the person isn't eligible. It means that it's required and incumbent on us to verify the information that they have attested to us. Next slide, please. An additional new feature for this program year is also a federal requirement that was waived last year but is not waived in this year. It is known as 3% verification. States are required to verify up to 3% of all approved applications received prior to the start of the summer period. And this process is a program integrity measure that we must conduct. In order to do it, we're going to select 3% of all applications received prior to the summer period and sample uh, that figure and then indicate those applications to workers who will conduct the activity of verification, which will be substantially extremely similar to the process that we would go through if we had a verification for cause finding. A pending letter goes out. If we receive the verification that we're asking for, we'll authorize the benefit. And if not, the eligibility will fail. The household can reapply. Next slide, please. So we'll share a little bit about the time frame. I think this is on many people's minds. There are some unique features, again, to the Sunbucks program, one of which is that even though it kind of feels like a seasonal program, like the LIHEAP program, Sunbucks applications are available and can be um, received and processed all year round. Our online application did launch in July, and we are still hoping to issue benefits automatically to eligible children in the month of July. August 31st is the last day to accept applications for the 2025 program year, which makes September 1st the first day to accept applications for the 2026 program year. What that means is that If an application is received on August 31st, it will be considered for benefits in this summer operational period. If an application is received on September 1st, it will be considered for a benefit in the 2026 summer period. So for people who are seeking to receive a benefit for this summer, the deadline to submit an application is August 31st. September 15th is the target deadline to have all application processing for 2025 summer period completed. We know that there are special rules for the Sunbucks program around expungement of benefits. It's shorter than the time frame for SNAP, and that's based on the federal rules for the program. And we believe that November 13th is around when the first unspent Sunbucks benefits will begin being expunged from people's accounts if they were not spent. And then similar to the expungement time frame, the appeal time frame has a set deadline in the federal rules, and November 29th is expected to be the last day for 2025 program year Sunbucks appeals to be submitted. Next slide, please. This is a good time to recap the big differences between this year and last year. So we are issuing Sunbucks automated benefits earlier this year than we were last year, and we will begin processing applications earlier as well. If you recall, we were doing that at the end of August. This year, it's looking likely that we'll be doing it by the end of July. We will have online application availability this year, or I should say we do have online application availability now, so we hope that's helpful for people. We talked about the 3% verification process, which is new. Another feature which is not new to the program, but is new to our operation of the program based on when benefits became available last year, is that those applications which were received prior to July 1st have to use the federal poverty income guidelines from the previous year, and applications received after July 1st must use them for the current to future year, and that's also a federal rule. We have made a number of system updates to enhance issuance targeting as well, and we hope that that will make it more likely that the household in which the child is most currently residing receives the benefit, because ultimately this is a child nutrition program with the intent of feeding kids over the summer period where they are. Next slide, please. It's also important with the Sunbucks program to talk about the places where we expect friction. It's based on the structure of the program, likely that there will probably be some superfluous applications that are received where a person that is automatically eligible submits a application anyways. We talked a little bit about what the process would entail when that occurs, and I suspect that that might be frustrating if the household receives a notice back saying they're not eligible, but they do in fact receive a benefit. But that's kind of tied up in the system design of how the program has to work. In Pennsylvania, there's no legislatively required statewide student enrollment or NSLP database. That makes the process for collecting information in order to issue the Sunbucks benefits cumbersome and quite manual. It's a part of why our benefit issuance takes quite some time. We hope every year we'll be able to move that issuance time frame up, but that plays no small role in it. Community eligibility provision school eligibility is often confusing to people because they might remember the no longer available pandemic EBT program, where if a child was receiving meals at a CEP school, they automatically receive pandemic EBT. Sunbucks is a different program. It has a different federal authorizing statute. That's not how the Sunbucks program operates. And so there is a need for children at community eligibility provision schools and their households to understand that if they're not going to be determined automatically eligible through one of the benefits that DHS offers, they may need to apply for Sunbucks. The application deadline is something that often causes a lot of friction. It is odd that this is a year-round program with a fixed deadline, but that is how the program is designed. There is a fixed appeal deadline. Again, there's not really much we can do about that. It is unusual for in relation to our other programs. We do accept self-attestation on applications. That's unusual relative to our other programs, and that expungement deadline is also rather unusual relative to our other programs and shorter. So we really want to make sure that people get these benefits in their hand and they expend them to meet their household needs. Next slide, please. We're going to go through a couple frequently asked questions just to make sure you have a sense of how this program operates as best as possible. Um, if a student's household circumstances change throughout the year, what will happen to their eligibility in Sunbucks? And we want to point out that if at any time they were found eligible during the year, the student will be eligible for that year. Um, People can report changes of address through Compass or My Compass, our mobile app, or call the customer service center, which is good because that helps us make sure that we get the benefit to the right place. But ultimately, if you are eligible in one county and you move to a different county and you're no longer getting National School Lunch Program or you're no longer getting SNAP or something like that, um, because you were eligible at one point in the year, you will receive this benefit. Will all children in a household get the benefit on the same card? This is a common challenge with the program. And wherever possible, we're going to try to make it be the case that the Sunbucks benefits will be issued onto a single card for all the children in that household. But ultimately, the Sunbucks benefit and to where the benefit is sent and on what card the benefit is placed is entirely contingent on the way in which the child is made eligible. So you could have a household in which a child is made eligible because they're receiving SNAP, and maybe there's another member of the household who's made eligible because they applied for the National School Lunch Program and were determined eligible. Um, it is possible that they would receive their benefit in two separate ways. Next slide, please. If a household believed that they were going to receive an automatic benefit, but they have not received that automatic benefit, we want to point out that we're expecting those benefits to be issued very soon. They have not yet been issued, and all those benefits should be issued by October of this year. Um, they can also contact the customer service center to gather the latest information about the issuance of Sunbox. What should a household do if they receive benefits for one child but not another? Um, Siblings might receive benefits at different times, again, contingent on the mechanism by which they became eligible. Some children younger than 6 or older than 18 may not be eligible, even if a child in that same household is eligible. And again, this backs up on the eligibility rules for this new federal program. Next slide, please. What should a household do if they were denied but believe they were in fact eligible? All of our eligibility notices come with appeal rights, and we would encourage someone in that circumstance to appeal their eligibility determination. The household can also reapply for Sunbucks at any time, uh, keeping in mind the deadline for the 2025 program year. What should a household do if they lose their Sunbucks card? This is pertinent because, as was said, we will be trying to reissue benefits to previously issued cards where appropriate. Re- Replacements can be sought by contacting the CAO or the customer service center. We can tell you that replacements have not yet been issued, though we are logging replacement requests, which will be fulfilled when the automated issuances begin. What should a household do if they receive a benefit but do not wish to receive a benefit? This does happen from time to time because, again, the program was designed so that a household would not necessarily need to apply. So if they receive it on their EBT card, they can contact our customer service center and the benefits will be expunged. And if they receive it on a standalone Sunbucks card, uh, they can destroy that card. Next slide, please. So generally speaking, if assistance is needed, eligibility is conducted by and handled by the Department of Human Services. They can contact the CAO or our customer service center. Phone numbers listed here on the slide. We want to point out and feel it's very important to make sure everyone understands, schools are not able to assist households with Sunbucks programming questions. And households really should not be contacted or directed to contact their school or PDE about eligibility for the Sunbucks program. Next slide. We want to make sure to direct you to our ever updated Sunbucks webpage. There's a lot of really useful information there, including an exhaustive frequently asked questions list. Our eligibility navigator has been updated for this program year as well. That's a nice step-by-step guide that any student household can click through for each of their individual children to try and get a better sense of whether they will be automatically eligible, and if so, through what means. And there is also information on how to apply. Our online application link is there on that website. And if you want to promote the Sunbucks program from your office, you can do that with the materials that we have there as well. Next slide, please. Okay. Well, at this time, I think we're prepared to take questions and do our best to address them for you.
Yes, I don't see any outstanding questions in the chat, but I'll just talk for a few seconds in case you folks want to submit anything off the top of your mind. Again, this recording and slide deck used will be distributed within the next few days for all registered attendees, so you'll be able to reference that information and links contained within. So not seeing any more questions, but just in continuing to give you guys a few more minutes, I will say if something comes up and you weren't able to get it in here, please reach out to us at the Office of Legislative Affairs. We're always happy to work with the Office of Income Maintenance and answer your questions. Does look like one came in from Rob Conroy here. Has distribution already begun for this year? Carl, can you just reiterate that point?
Yes, thank you, Rob. No, the automatic issuances have not yet been sent out. We believe that they will be issued in the next week. Once automatic issuances are made, the applications we have received will also begin being processed. We always prioritize the automated distribution first because if you receive an automated issuance, then you're not eligible to receive the benefit again through a separate application.
Thank you very much, Carl. And Kathy Jo Osmond, I see you asked, will the PowerPoint be shared? Yes, the PowerPoint and this full recording will be shared. They should be out within a day or two after we wrap this up.
Andrew, I see that there's another individual who had an earlier question about what is a community eligibility provision school, and it looks like that was responded to. So thank you, Brenna.
I believe Rep Rivera raised her hand earlier. Do you have a question, Rep Rivera?
If you have a question, if you could type it in the chat, that'd be helpful. I think attendees for this have the microphones muted. All right, so while I don't see anything new being typed up again, please reach out to us at the Office of Legislative Affairs if you have any questions that come to you after or you weren't able to get in the chat. Like I said, we're happy to answer those questions as they come in. So for now, I think that will be the end of our presentation here. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us. And like I said, PowerPoint and presentation will be disseminated in a few days after this event. Thank you very much all, and hope you have a good rest of your day.
Have a good day, everyone.